Welcome back to the Dragon Slayer, everybody. My name is Wade, and this is my show, Let's Talk, where we talk about Warhammer 40k. Talking about Tyranids to you today. This is kind of my second in a mini series of the gun beasts that I take. I do like gun beasts. 9th edition, 10th edition saw a pretty solid glow up in Tyranids for shooting. We all know about Dakafexes and things like that. But I like the Tyranofex. And the thing about the Tyranofex is it has some really interesting options. So let's get into it. Movement 9 is pretty good. Given the fact that the base is so big, you'll be able to move pretty much anywhere that you need to on the board. Tough 12. Tough 12. He's hard to hurt. I like monstrous creatures. If you know me, you know that I like monstrous creatures. So tough 12, really good. 2+ save, pretty good. You know, I mean, the AP3 is going to bump you up to a 5+, so an AP3 is really good. 16 wounds, pretty amazing. I love the high wound count. Leadership 8, you know, it's worse than average, but Tyranids are meant to be in Synops anyways. So OC5. One way to run a Tyranofex is to throw him down on top of an objective and just laugh at people. That is one way to run a Tyranofex. We have some different options here. So, excuse me. Let me talk about the flesh-boring hive first. So, you're going to get the stinger salvos no matter what. And no offense, 8 attacks is pretty good, but I think the stinger salvos are all but useless. I rarely, barely ever get a wound on the stinger salvos. It's the no AP and only 1 damage, strength 5. It's not great. Anyways, I'm going to start with the flesh boar hive. Now, 20 attacks at 24 inches sounds pretty good. It is heavy, so that means if you don't move, your ballistic skill is going to become 2. That's pretty good. It's sustained hits. You might already have sustained hits from your hyper adaptation, and that's okay. And it's twin linked, which means you get to re-roll any failed wounds, which statistically is going to help you out. The problem over here is it's only strength 5, and it's AP 0, and it's 1 wound. Now, if you're shooting at guardsmen, cool. You might be able to do something there. If you are shooting at fire warriors or aspect warriors, you might be able to do something there. If you're shooting at marines, you're wounding them on a 3 and re-rolling. It's the AP is the problem. I'll just come right out and say it. It's the AP that's the problem. So unless you know that you're going up against like a horde guard army, I wouldn't go that way. A really good option is the acid spray. Okay, so acid spray, what's cool about that is it is torrent, which is great. 18 inches, which is not bad. Really big base, decent movement. You'll be able to get what you need. D6 plus 6 attacks. That's good. They're all going to hit because it's torrent. Strength 6 is good. It's double toughing guardsmen. But, you know, it's wounding marines on 3s. Here's the good part. AP2. AP2 is pretty good. So in 10th edition, AP1 is good. AP2 is pretty good. AP3 or higher is very good. And then 2 damage. So you're going to kill marines with this. So they always say that you should work with what kills marines, because if it kills marines, it'll kill everything else. So where this option really kind of thrives is you charge him up and you stand on top of an objective with him. OC5 is okay, but the tough 12 is really good, the 2+ save is really good, and the 16 wounds is pretty good. And then you spray people with acid, you're gonna get kills, and then here's the key, here's the strategy key. When somebody moves or charges into you, you overwatch them. So on your turn, you're gonna get to spray them, kill a couple guys, and then on their turn, because keep in mind you can overwatch either during the movement phase or during the charge phase. So keep that in mind. But yeah, killing a couple guys on your turn and then killing a couple guys on their turn can really drastically change the situation. And keep in mind, It doesn't. They don't have to. You don't have to do it in the charge phase. You can do it in the move phase, and you can severely mess up a charge that they had in mind, and change the outcome of where their charge. And heck, you could even change the outcome of the charge because the charge distance might be different depending on where they take the model from when they take their losses. But the acid spray, pretty freaking good. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the Rupture cannon. I want to like the Rupture cannon. I really want to enjoy the Rupture cannon, and I think the community does. The problem is it's so swingy, and see me grabbing my head. People only grab their head if something is very good or if something is very bad. And I want to like the Rupture cannon. So 48 inches, you're going to hit anything on the table. 2 attacks, that's not great. It's heavy, so if you don't move, you're going to BS2, which BS2 is pretty good. You're statistically very likely to hit. Okay, Strength 18, so good. Strength 18, so good. This is our anti-weapon choice, but 2 attacks. AP4. AP4 is great. The only problem is the invulnerable save. So, I mean, if you're shooting at something, if you're shooting at a vehicle or something that has an invulnerable save, I pray for you. You know, the monolith is not coming with an invulnerable save right off the bat. You know, super heavy tanks and, you know, Imperial Guard tanks are not going to have invulnerable saves, but some of them can get invulnerable saves with engine seers and stuff like that. So, know what you're shooting at, I guess, is a really important thing here. So the ballistic skill will go to 2. Strength 18, you're going to be double toughing a lot of things or just straight up 3s, which is great. AP4 makes it super hard for them to resist. And then the swingiest of the swingiest. So the 2 attacks is pretty swingy because you're going to miss sometimes. But the swingiest of the swingiest is the damage, 2d6. Statistically, you should be getting 7 damage a wound. Statistically, because you're always supposed to roll a 3 and then a 4. You're obviously going to have those double 1s. You're going to have those double 2s. But they, you know, also statistically, you should have those double 5s and those double 6s. So, I don't know. Powerful limbs, you know, you're not here for the powerful limbs. 4 attacks is not great. Weapon skill 3 is not great. Strength 8 is not great. AP 0 is terrible. AP 0 is terrible. So someone's going to try to tie him up. And that's actually another reason to take the acid spray. Because if you take the acid spray, so let's say somebody, you know, puts a deep striker or something and gets you into melee combat, then your Rupture cannon might be completely shut down. But if you had the acid spray, you could spray them on your turn. You can spray them on their turn. And then when it's your turn again, you can spray them during your shooting phase. Even though you're within engagement range of them, you can spray them. Because it's just blast weapons that you can't shoot. So keep that in mind. Or you might be able to spray somebody else. Big guns never tire. Look it up. So Deadly Demise, keep in mind it could explode. So when it dies, you roll a 6. A d6. If you roll a 6, it explodes. Everything within 6 inches takes d6 damage. Synapse, which means it can benefit of Synapse. Here's the nerf that everyone rebelled. Resilient Organism. It used to be, anytime it took damage, it just took 1 less damage. And it was worded so poorly that it sounded like 1 damage could be reduced to 0, which I thought was kind of cool. But now Resilient Organism says, once per battle, when an attack is allocated to this model, you can change the damage characteristic of that attack to 0. I think it's a pretty useless ability. That's just me. I'm not always perfect. It's in my opinion, it's not going to save you because, like, you're getting shot at with a volcano cannon. Okay, well, you know, it hit me 4 times, and 1 of the times that it hit me, I've reduced to 0. The other 3 times kill me outright. So, you know, I don't know. But, you know, it could save you from, like, that lone las cannon shot. I don't know. I don't like that it's once per game. And anyways, we here at the Dragon's Lair understand that you can spend your time anywhere on the internet. So we want to say thank you for spending your time here with us at the Dragon's Lair.